So I'd like to kind of do a review of my 300 Ninja here, kind of my own personal official review on this bike. First of all, I'm going to say watch professional reviews. There's so much information on the 300 Ninja that you don't need to really feel like you can go into looking at one uneducated. All I'm going to mention is my own personal taste, my likes, my dislikes. Brutally honest, and we'll leave it at that. And I'm not going to put these like this is my number one dislike, this is my number two dislike. It's just simply going to be at random order. These are my dislikes, these are my likes. And one of my dislikes is the gearing. I'm in 5th gear coming around this corner, turning in at 17 mile an hour. 5th. There's 6th gear right there. 25 mile an hour in 6th gear already at this low of a speed. The bike's gearing is geared incredibly low. I think they would have done better, and it's not just a matter of sprocket swaps. It's like the transmission itself should have had wider spaced gears in it. It would have definitely brought the RPMs down quite a bit at higher speed. Another thing is the factory grips. And for $20, which is stupid for what they are, but for $20 I put on a set of grip puppies. I think that's a high price for them. Having that been said, I would pay it again. They do an extremely good job of isolating vibration. Another thing I dislike about this Ninja is the seat. Again, that is something that can be fixed. I'm still on the fence on how long for sure I'm going to have this bike. Haven't made up my mind yet. If this is just going to be another bike and passing, or if it's going to be here to stay. I hadn't made up my mind yet on it. But the seat is rubbish. The mirrors are rubbish. I have to tuck my arm in on either side. If I set them where I want them, to where I can actually see much behind me, it shows my elbows. The mirrors need to come out. I'm sure there's extensions, I'm sure there's different mirrors. More money, something else to deal with. So yes, I'm driving really slow, riding really slow. So I'm trying to keep the wind noise down while doing this. To get a full grip around here, I have to lean forward and I have to put weight on my wrists and my elbows. Now for an hour and a half, that's not that big of a deal, but it's odd. That con is also a pro because it puts you in a sporty position for when you want to go around some twisty, curvy roads. That's a good riding position to be in. It puts you in a fun, engaging, sporty mode. Most of the time, I drive this like a 3-speed. There's 2nd gear start off, 2nd, 4th, 6th. 1st gear is good if you're trying to start off on a really steep hill. 4th is a great gear. With the RPM band that's on this bike, 4th will carry you all over town. Corner at 21, 6th gear. And it's kind of leisurely, but it does pick up speed again. That needs no explanation. That is what makes a Ninja right there. That's just what the bike is. I guess I'll go over some of my likes on the bike. I like the fuel economy. Been getting a little better than 60 miles per gallon. For the horsepower to fuel economy ratio was really good. For a sporty style bike, the ride is really good. It is very stiff, but it's not bone-jarring harsh unless you get on total crap roads that you really shouldn't be on a Ninja. Like, I don't know, most of the roads that I go on. But seriously, it's a really decent suspension. I miss the smooth Buick Cadillac ride. That's the old grandpa floaty ride. That's what I like best. That's my personal preference. If I had to ride one and only one every single day, and I had to pick one bike to do it on, this would not be my pick. Get out of the way, birds. I don't really know what else to say that I like about it. Brakes! Freaking stops. My gosh, this thing stops fast. No real need to demonstrate this. You just have to take my word for it. One of my kind of dislikes, I guess, I forgot to throw this in. The power on this bike is very good. It is a very good usable amount of power, but you have to just crank the crap out of the RPMs to get there. And I just I hate to do that. They say it's perfectly safe, perfectly fine, but you have to, I mean, it's like the motor doesn't even really start to pull till you hit about 8 grand. It'll wake up some about 6. Another dislike. I'm trying to be on the pros, but I keep thinking these little nitpicky crap. Alright, Kawasaki, really? What on earth possessed y'all to make the blinkers on the dashboard a dark green and then smoke tint them? I have left my blinker on this bike more times than everything I've ever rode, ever combined. I guarantee it. You can't even hardly see the freaking things. It's pro and con together in one again. Airflow. Not having a windscreen. I'm sorry, but that ain't no windscreen. Not having a windscreen. Awesome when the weather goes to getting warm. Sucks when it's cold. It is what it is. A pro to this bike, if you care about such a thing, is comments. I get a lot of positive comments of people liking the bike. That's never been a big deal with me one way or the other. If it matters to you, a lot of people like the style of this bike.